We're continuing our series on how easy it is to form the Roman Empire in Paradox games. This time, we're tackling EU4, a Paradox game I've truly fell in love with. The requirements for the formation of the empire are a little more stringent than CK3. You'll need to control all the lands traditionally associated with the Roman Empire, totaling a massive 425 provinces. Since the primary requirements are owning the right territories and being either Christian or Pagan, we technically have a lot of options for who to play as. However, being the benevolent leader of this channel, I left it up to you all to decide. After 1,500 votes, the people have spoken. We will be starting as Aragon in 1444. Join us as we take the first step towards reforging the empire in EU4. The first two attempts ended in resets due to a couple misplays.
Too many resets.
But by our third try as Aragon, things started to fall into place. Our initial strategy was an early takeover of the Byzantines, effectively locking the Ottomans into a slow collapse.
Doing so will cripple their economy pretty significantly because I think a lot of the more valuable land is on this side of the strait.
Luck was on our side as we managed to secure a personal union with both Castile and Portugal. However, our choice to become a peasant republic caused us to lose Portugal due to low opinion.
If we wanted to. Unfortunately, we did lose the Portuguese, but we are now a republic who has to deal with a bunch of rebels. So let's go do that.
Naturally, our conquest triggered a coalition with France at the helm. Day 2 got started with a bang as Naples and several of my vassals joined forces with France in a bid for independence, throwing a wrench in my plans. Burgundy dipped out on us, said, "Go fuck yourself." And said, "Ciao, ciao. We'll see you in the future. Good luck." Unfortunately, we can't get any allies because we're at war. Nobody will take an alliance with us because that's just how it is. So we're going to have to merc up real quick. We're going to have to try to get across the strait before the Venetian fleet prevents us from doing anything. Fortunately, we managed to scrape out a white piece, though this meant integrations would have to wait till much later. We followed this up with a tidy little war, securing more of the Genoese trade node for ourselves. Meanwhile, with the Ottomans getting dogpiled, we seized the opportunity to pile on some more, slowing down the Mamelukian expansion and further solidifying our control over the Mediterranean. All the while, we worked steadily towards completing key missions in our tree. At this stage, the biggest threat to our continued expansion was, of course, France. To deal with the big blue blob, we rallied our vassals and allies, forming a powerful coalition to bring them to heel. Austria, get freaking pumped. Yeah. With France on the back foot, we are poised to once again smack around other minor powers around the Mediterranean Sea.
Take one county and humiliate them. Take a bunch of money, like a shit ton of money, and get war reps out of it too.
Third day of our Aragon to Rome challenge. We fended off aggressive expansion allegations by seizing more of Portugal. Streaming on TikTok like we traditionally do because last time we were playing this game, I think I said F the French one too many times, which caused me to get a temporary ban. That's why I'm not talking to TikTok, because they don't exist at this point. After many in-game years, we finally consolidated the Byzantines, leading to a tough decision. Should we abandon our dreams for other achievements in exchange for instantly integrating Castile? With no other wise counsel but myself, I made the call, becoming even more powerful. The ones we get are Aragonese ideas. I don't really want to give up on them. I don't know if they're that great, though, to be honest. The morale of our armies, no. But we still have all the missions that they have. So our tree is just expanded a little bit more. With our newfound strength, our first order of business, beating up France. We also took over Naples and made more progress on our mission tree, only to find ourselves once again clashing with France for the cores of Gascony, potentially knocking them out of the great power status. Now we look ahead, the Mamelukes and Tunis are ripe for conquest. On day 4 of this challenge, we are still tangling with coalition wars. To stay ahead, we preemptively struck the Commonwealth to prevent more nations from joining the coalition. That was followed by a war on Cyprus to drag in the Mamluks, though we only took a single province to set up a future Syrian core reconquest. Next up was another lesson for France, this time knocking them out of great power status. Midway through that war, our Mamelukian truce expired, but thanks to our ally Ajam, we reclaimed all the Syrian lands and then some. But then came our downfall. In a moment of carelessness, I joined a war on France's side against my longtime ally, Great Britain. We can intervene on this war. We can join the war on... Oh, fuck.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I did not mean to do that. That mistake cost us an alliance for good, adding another major enemy to our growing list. Now we have to dismantle them before they join the inevitable mega coalition against us. I think on that note, we should just end the stream because Kevin has lost all steam. All the steam has gone out of his engine because of a stupid tactical move like that. We kicked off the stream on a high note by showcasing the channel's patron saint, Bruce. That's super cute little face going for everybody to see. He's like, Kevin, why do you consistently do this to me? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Before diving back into our favorite pastime, simultaneously beating up both the French and the Mamelukes. As always, we made our obligatory strike against the Commonwealth to keep them in check. At this stage of the run, it is a constant cycle of warring with multiple nations while trying to prevent them from joining the massive coalition. We crushed the British fleet, allowing us to land on the Isles, which led to releasing Scotland and feeding them their old cores. They are a vassal that we will be using as we're going to feed them pretty much Great Britain north. Meanwhile, we finally integrated Syria into our empire, triggering a looming disaster that was made even worse by the spread of the Reformed and Protestant centers of Reformation. Damn, we got to 74%. 74.6%. Is there one that's like done in 2 seconds? No. It became a desperate race to regain 75% religious unity. We threw everything we had at the problem, but ultimately it was all in vain. This plunged us into a religious disaster, leaving us with two options: claw our way back to 90% unity, or endure 9,000 days, roughly 24 years of chaos. Will we hold on long enough to see it through, or will all our hard work come crashing down? Roman Empire in EU4 challenge by checking our haters list. That is anybody marked in red. Plus the Commonwealth, Hungary, and Austria have turned on us. Our only allies in this world are the Brandenburgians and Persia, which they're decent. I wish we could get Russia as an ally, but I don't. I think we have beef. Unfortunately, I missed the pop-up, so the Mamelukes have once again joined that list, bringing the grand total enemy force strength to 375k troops. On the bright side, we still pummel the French, which is now reduced to only a handful of provinces. After that, we crossed the channel to find a new punching bag, the British. We got lucky and managed to isolate the Hungarians in a war, allowing to seize most of their coastal provinces and further expand our territory. We also tackled our religious turmoil, which, while annoying, wasn't as disastrous as initially seemed. Only took us so long to make that happen, but we are finally united once more. Next, we put our military strength to the test against Russia to see how our superior quality held up against their sheer numbers, and it turns out we outclassed them by a mile. Towards the end of the stream, we got screwed over by auto-diplomatic mechanics, preventing us from attacking the Tunisians before they rejoined the coalition. Lesson learned. Oh, god damn it. That is such bad timing. So now they're gonna join the coalition? Oh, come on. As it stands, we control 291 out of the 425 provinces required to form Rome. The final stretch will be the hardest, as we will need to start chewing through the Holy Roman Empire to finish the job. Day 7 of our Forming Rome challenge in EU4, and we finally took a peek at the New World, an area I've completely ignored for the most part. Turns out the British have taken control of most of it. Speaking of the British, it was once again time to remind them who truly ruled the seas. After whipping up on them once more, forced them to have to make the AI move around their troops with boats. Finally, Tunis had left the coalition, allowing us to take a large portion of their coastal provinces. We began constructing a fortress in preparation for a potential showdown with a massive coalition that we have formed against us. The really good thing they did to this game is that if you want the details, the minutia of this game, they will give it to you. Do you want to know everything and anything about your nation? We will give you all the stats. We also got dragged into a war with the Mamelukes, which was perfect since it gave us the chance to seize even more of their lands. Meanwhile, we secured the last little bit of territory needed from Tunis, putting an end to their coastal raids once and for all. To wrap up the day, we crushed the British one last time, stripping them of most of their land. Now it's time to focus up on building up our strength and dismantling this coalition once and for all. First things first, let's take a look at the ideas we've chosen for this run. Most of them made sense at the time, but in hindsight, some could have been optimized for better synergy. Interestingly, we're one of the only republics left on the map alongside Venice and a few OPMs. What is this? Theocracies, republics, what is this? Tribal. There's a couple more. A native as well. Of course, it wouldn't be a true episode without beating up the Mamelukes. With our forces built up to 420k troops, well prepared for the inevitable coalition war. This massive conflict saw us and our 3 allies facing off against most of the HRE and other powers in Europe. But surprisingly, it ended in less than a year with a white peace. That gave us a perfect opportunity to start claiming the last pieces of the empire we needed. Significantly less died, which is good because at the end of the day, the whole point was to get us out of this coalition. So now, who's in the coalition? Technically, everybody's on truce. Once our truces expired, we launched a nearly simultaneous war against Hungary, Nevers, and Parma, finally uniting Italy under one banner. But another major challenge loomed, annexing Venice. Due to our aggressive expansion, we were set to wait another 20 years until God's sent pulse event seed this to... Oh, baby, this is actually it. Huge. Gave us 50 opinion boosts by ceding land to Venice, jump-starting the annexation process. We wrapped up the day by crushing Persia, leaving us with only 42 provinces away from fulfilling our ultimate dream. The finish line is within sight. On our 9th and final day, we had only a few provinces left to conquer. So why not take one last swing at poor Mamluks just for our old time's sakes? After that, we turned our attention to the second greatest power, Russia, which controlled some of the land we needed for Mare Nostrum achievement, as well as 2 more Roman provinces. One major advantage of staying a republic throughout the game was that when the age of revolution hits, we didn't have to worry about the disaster triggering. In fact, the revolution had already happened way back in 1456. If you ever noticed the quality of a Do It for Roos video shifting mid-session, it's probably because I forgot to start recording properly, so you'll see it jump from 720p to 1080p. 2 hours into the stream, we did not record. I do this every time because I don't want to record the initial part, but I should just record the initial part. With only 9 provinces left to take, we wrapped this thing up with 2 quick wars against Austria and Switzerland. And finally, after all the grinding, we unlocked the decision that transformed our nation into the glorious royal purple blob. Look at it in all of this freaking glory. What are the Roman traditions? To be honest, I actually don't know. To cement our achievement, we picked up a few last-minute achievements before bringing the challenge to a close. Interestingly, even though I thought we'd miss out on some achievements by switching to Spain, we still managed to get them, maybe because we kept Aragonese ideas, or simply because the game only requires you to start as Aragon. After 9 sessions, over 51 hours of playtime, 275 in-game years, 425 Roman provinces conquered, the challenge was complete. I could not be more elated. Took on this challenge to answer a simple question: how hard is it to reform Rome in Europa Universalis 4? Compared to Crusader Kings 3, it was significantly more difficult, but that's partly because I'm an expert in CK3 and the requirements there are much less demanding. After the initial restarts, the run didn't feel like smooth sailings, but at no point did it seem like everything would come crashing down on our heads. So was it difficult? Yes, but impossible? Not at all. In fact, as you saw, someone with a better grasp of the game could have shaved at least 100 years off my time. Looking back, there are a few things that I could have done differently. First, colonization. I avoided it because during our mega campaign, I struggled with constant rebellions in the New World. However, colonization would have helped offset some of the aggressive expansion I was accumulating, while also providing extra profit and power. Another mistake was taking Rome too early. Doing so locked me out of the benefits of the papacy, which would have been extremely useful given how long this run took. Plus, constantly dealing with excommunicated rulers was a headache. Becoming a peasant republic right from the start was another misstep. It was fun from a storytelling perspective, but prevented me from securing personal unions with other nations. A definite drawback. Losing Portugal was also tough. If we had kept, they could have done most of the colonization for us, allowing me to reap benefits without the hassle. My last 2 major misplays: accumulating too much AE throughout the game, This slowed the run down significantly, forcing me to sit through truces or drag random countries into wars just to reach my actual targets. Hell, Parma survived for over 100 years simply because they were stuck in a coalition until I finally fought them directly, not dismantling the Holy Roman Empire sooner. The HRE was the main reason the coalition remained such a persistent problem. Had I taken them down earlier, the coalition would still have existed, but it would have been far more manageable. In the end, despite my mistakes, we reached our goal just a little later than I would have liked. So that's all I have for you. Next in our challenge is Victoria, which I'm super looking forward to. Look out for that in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably start that soon. My name's Kevin. This is Do It for Bruce. If you'd like this, please consider following us on any of our social medias. We got a TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, all of the above. We also have a Patreon if you want to financially support us. If none of those appeal to you, thanks for stopping by. Have a good rest of your day. Ciao.